Action. There we go. Okay. I'm going to just kind of keep it short and simple today. I'm just kind of tired for whatever reason, and unfortunately, fortunately, I haven't canceled any classes because I'm too tired to drive. But some days I just get that way, and that's just part of getting old and having had a stroke. It's just, and this room being very warm isn't helping me any. That's there. Okay. Um, I went back to, last time I tried Octave last Thursday and it didn't work. So I got MATLAB installed over the weekend, and I also downloaded the test files again. That's there. So I'm going to post up real quick. I started to do that on Facebook here. The updated, and you can see my typing is test file. Okay, and more, add file. And choose. And boy, I cannot see that. I know you can't see it. Maybe you can see it. I don't see it. Desktop. Oh, it's just real tiny on my computer here. And I may have to unplug this briefly to get the post. And back. Okay. All right, I just posted the updated file. I don't know if that's different than the one I used on Thursday. I didn't really check it. It's just that I made sure I had the working one from last time. That's there. So, okay. I'm going to go ahead and bring up MATLAB. I'm going to try it at the end with Octave to see if it works, see whether Octave works. Octave should work. Now, a quick reminder of everybody that you have to go into settings and look at devices. Now, as it turns out, if you've got Windows 10, it shows right up here under other devices. Otherwise, you've got to go to the device manager and see which COM port it's on. In my case, it's COM 3. So these machines, I think, have Windows 8 on them, I think, or something like that. I'm not sure what these machines have. You can do it with a laptop if it runs with Octave. We'll try that last. So, okay, let me go ahead and shut that. That's COM 3. Let me go ahead and bring up MATLAB right there. Yeah, this happens to be the 2015, and it's right there. Now, I'm going to go ahead and close this and just reopen it. File open. And in my particular case, I put it on the desktop. Right there, wherever you happen to put it. And it happens to be test right there. Now, as I said before, I'm going to comment out, and this is going to take me a while here, all these other lines just simply so we can isolate them. Now, it may be possible that I could get an error, which means that I may have to And the reason I'm going through all this process is so that we can test each motor individually. Someone trying to escape. He doesn't want to hear me talk. I actually don't care if there's people in the room that are not part of the class, as long as they're quiet. Although one time in my early days of teaching, I was much younger and I didn't look any older than the students at that particular point, if you can believe that. Of course, I was on a campus where we had a number of older students. I was talking, not necessarily in a lecture mode like this, but I was kind of going around talking to each student, working on their projects. It was a computer programming class, and I had some woman who was in another class come up to me very, very angrily, telling me, would I please sit down and shut up? She's trying to work. And I said, would you quit trying to interrupt my lecture and leave? She goes, what do you mean? I said, if you look at the room schedule outside, this room is scheduled for a lecture at this time with a Professor Hack teaching. I happen to be Professor Hack. So you either shut up and let me lecture and I'll quietly let you work, or you leave. And she got very angry. I said, well, I can call campus security. They can help you leave. And, we've got big burly guys that work for the university that carry guns, and they can always help people leave. In which case, she got very angry at me, and I didn't really care. Okay, let me kind of go through what's going on here. All right, the first thing I do is I assign S as a variable, and it's actually a COM port right there. So S is a serial port, and I set the baud rate to 9600, and hopefully you can read this on. Yeah, that's there. You can read it here. Okay, that's there. So that there. So yeah, if you're not in the group, ask to be added to the group, and somebody else can add you. I won't add you. That's there. So you open the COM port, you do a little pause, you set the speed, and I mentioned this last time. I'm setting 92, and I can't remember the range between it. I think it goes like 126 or 127 right there. It uses binary number, and then right there. So that's the 92, and that's an unsigned integer 8-bit is what that is. So it's a number between 0 and 127 right there. So if I take, if I can find my calculator, 0.8 times 127 and 27, that's about 101. So the 92 doesn't make sense. It's not there, but regardless, and he may have said 80% and then decided to up it a little bit. It's one of those cases right there. It doesn't really matter what you set the speed at, that there. And then there's actually just 2 steps to moving a motor. First step is you tell it what motor you want to write. There's 6 motors from 0 to 5. And as I mentioned before, motor 0 is the base. Motor 1 is the elbow. Motor 3 is kind of the wrist this way. Motor 4, and you can't see me, but it's the up and down. And then you rotate the wrist, and then you close the gripper. So right there. And this assignment basically is just identify that. And I've set this up to where I'm just moving motor 0 from 0. I'm moving it to 0, 180 to 0, and then back to 90. So that's all this should do. So if I run this, if you look at this motor right here in the front, and I have to add that to the path, it should rotate this thing around. It should. And why are we not moving? It moved. Oh, yeah. Yeah, but it's moving the wrong motor right there. Do I have a bad? Right there. Because it's moving motor 1, not motor 0. Yeah, it moved motors. Well, here I've got motor 1 here. Okay. Here's motor 0. Motor 0. Motor 0. Motor 1, I did not pause comment out. That's why it's moved motor 1. Let me comment out motor 1 and let's try running this again. It was really making a nasty noise when it was doing motor 0. Motor 0 may have seized up on us. All right, tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop trying to move motor 0 and let's just go to motor 1. This particular board may have trouble with motor. See, it's still writing the motor 1 here. All right, let's just try motor 1 here and see what happens right here. Undefined. Okay, there's motor 1. So motor 1 is working fine. Move servo. Oh, I commented removed out a. I shouldn't have deleted that one up there. Okay, so it looks like motor 1 is working right there. Oh. Well, unfortunately, I need to unplug this and plug it back in because if you have a program that locks, that has an error like that, it doesn't close the port properly and causes all kinds of headaches. So I've actually had to reset the computer when it does that. And this particular robot seems like it's got some wiring issues. But let's try running it again here. And see whether it moves motor 1. It's got some pause. Oh, I didn't save that, so it's moving 0. Now it's moving 1 okay. So 1's okay. Zero's got problems. I could hear it trying to move zero, but it's got problems. So let's comment out zero, because zero on this particular motor robot is not working right. All right, let's save this. So now if I run this, this should just move zero in motor one. So there's motor one moving. Okay, we know that motor one works fine. And we're moving it. We're not moving to zero, we're moving to 20 and 160. So evidently I played with this there. So let's move it to zero, 180, and then back to 90. Right there. And it doesn't like that. Okay, here's zero. Then here's 180. It doesn't go quite 180, and there it's back to 90. Okay, so motor one's working. Motor two, right here. Again, the only thing we change here is we first out motor two. Don't remove the comment in front of the comments, otherwise I end up having to. Right here. In here we're moving motor two. Now I left the motor one moving here, so it'll move motor one first.
So what is different between motor one, motor two, and motor three?
What's that? Well, motor one this is motor zero. This one here. That's motor zero right here. And that one's not working right. Motor two is the one that goes up and down like this. And you'll see motor two here. So there's one motor in the base right here. This is the
so motor zero.
Motor zero is inside here.
Oh, okay.
This is motor one here that moves it up and down. It's like your shoulder up and down. Motor two is here, the elbow.
It's like a manipulator robot.
Yeah. So now it's going to move motors one and two. Zero is not working.
Okay.
So, well, actually now zero worked too. See, zero, but here, there's motor one. Right there, motor one, zero, because I knocked it free. So, I mean, it's got problems that there. It needs to be taken apart and cleaned. And there's motor two. So that's like the elbow right there. So you see number two moving.
So what about if motor two we put the degree 0 until 360? Is it
You can't, it's only 0 to 180. 0 to 180 is what you're limited to.
If we put 360, we crash.
No, it'll ignore it. Yeah, the servos will only go from 0 to 180. That's there.
Depends on this
Motor, yeah. Yeah, these motors will not go here. So now I'm going to do motor 3. And again, I'm recording this, but the recording does not show the robot going. I could put a camera up there, but I guess I'm lazy to put a camera. Right there. Okay, so now we're going to do motor 4 or 3 here. So again, we start off, motor 0 is the rotation, which is not working quite right. You can hear it's squealing. And there's motor 1. The shoulder's going, that's there. So it goes one direction, the other direction. And motor 3, I'll move here in a second. There's motor 3. That's like the elbow. That's motor 2, excuse me. The motor 3 will move here in a second, hopefully. And motor 3 seems to be having an issue too. Because motor 3, you can see the motors. Motor 3 is right here. And
It's like a wrist.
yeah, it's like a wrist up there. So it looks like number 3 is, hopefully the robots you get, all the motors work. Out there. Evidently this one is the easiest one to grab. I'm going to go ahead and put 4 in and see what happens with 4. They're all supposed to, when they delivered them, we tested them all, they all worked. But that doesn't mean they're all working now, a year later. The good thing is we got 10 or so of them, and between, you could probably find at least 5 or 6 that are all working. Most of them should all be working right there. So, all right. So 0 tries to work. 1 is working fine. Yeah. And you can go through and look at this code. So 1 is working fine. 2 seems to be working. There's 2, motor 2. And that shouldn't be going yet. There's motor 2. Motor 3 wasn't working last time. It's still not working. Yeah. And motor 4, I'm not seeing any movement on. Yeah, there's motor 4 right, or 5, excuse me, that's motor 5 right there. It's going like this right here. So, but it's not going, like waving high or by, it's not doing that. So that particular motor is not working. Then the last motor is the gripper right here. And this just opens and closes the gripper. So we'll go through and again. Motor 0 tries to work. It seems to be struggling. Motor 1 is working fine. Motor 2 seems to be working fine. Number 3 seems to be laughing at us. Right there. Motor 3 not doing anything. That there. Number 4 is working. That's rotation. And then number 5 should be closing the gripper. See, it opens and then closes right there. But it doesn't seem to be working 100%. It's not closing. Oh, there now it closes all the way. Okay. And so those are your 6 motors right there. But 1 is not working right now. And my guess is if I take it apart and then disconnect all the connectors and plug them back in, I can probably get it to work right there. But your assignment, and I'm just going to kind of leave it with this, is to actually grab one of these robots, download this program, and play with it. I don't have any particular homework or anything for you to turn in. I just want you to spend a little bit of time. The robots are over in the office. Who grabbed these? You grabbed them. You've been grabbing them, right? But they're all scattered on that shelves as you walk in. There's some on the top of the cabinets, but you'll see there's about 10 of these robots over there. So just grab them and come on over here. Now, before we leave, I want to try one more thing. This is not really part of I want to try this in Octave. It may be that Octave should work, but I may have just had the wrong file last time. I'm just going to test it right there and tell it to run. And it looks like it does not work with Octave. Uh-oh. It does not work with Octave, so you have to run it in MATLAB. But so Octave evidently does not talk to the COM ports. So that's why it would not work the other day. So I didn't have MATLAB installed. So you have to have MATLAB installed to run it. That's there. But that's the assignment. That's all I had for today, was just basically, and actually last Thursday my plan was to go through and do the demonstration and then just let you just come in here on today without me. That's there. So you have the rest of the time. I'm going to go hide back next door. 26 minutes.